She's one of the most watched women in the world. So much that after her leg-bearing split at the 2012 Academy Awards, her right leg alone went viral. Angelina Jolie is an Oscar-winning celebrity after all, and so her body has been coveted, analyzed, picked apart, and just about every tabloid outlet at some point has talked about how many kids she has, her Lara Croft physique, her lips, and yes, that leg. But on Tuesday, it was Angelina Jolie who did the talking, offering up her body for discussion on her own terms, and in a very different way. In an op-ed for the New York Times, Jolie revealed that she has had her fallopian tubes and ovaries removed as a preventive measure to lower her risk of cancer. Thrust into menopause at the age of 39, the actress and mother of 6 said, "I feel feminine and grounded in the choices I am making for myself and my family. I know my children will never have to say, 'Mom died of ovarian cancer.'" It was Jolie's second preventive surgery. She had her breasts removed 3 years ago, in a decision she also detailed in the New York Times in 2013. Jolie, who lost her mother, grandmother, and aunt to cancer, carries a genetic mutation that in her case increases the odds of breast cancer and ovarian cancer. The famously outspoken Jolie is being applauded for shining a light on a normally taboo subject and for empowering women to seek testing and genetic counseling and to be more informed. It's the phenomenon Time magazine once called the Angelina effect. But what are the real-world consequences of such a public and very privileged figure taking on and talking about an issue of women to women of varying backgrounds? Joining me at the table, Arun Carmone, national reporter for MSNBC, Dr. Althea Maybank, Associate Commissioner and Director of the Center for Health Equity at the New York City Health Department, and Jennifer Braunschweiger, pronounce it for me. Braunschweiger, who is, I'm sorry, the pronouncer, it's just, I didn't get it, who is deputy editor of More magazine. And I actually want to start with you, Jennifer, because I'm wondering what More has been hearing from your readers since Jolie came out, what they're saying about whether or not she is empowering to them or irritating to them. What are they saying?
Women are very supportive of Angelina's honesty and of her opening up a conversation about these very difficult health decisions. So the readers are moved by her and inspired by her, but there are nuances to the whole conversation that a 1,000-word op-ed in the New York Times can't hit. So we're also hearing a lot that not every woman has her privilege or her access to health insurance and medical care. And she is very lucky to have those things, but they don't apply to everybody.
Yeah, I'm always of kind of two minds on that. I mean, on the one hand, yes, clearly, right, that intersection of health and access is enormous. On the other hand, it also is a bit of a reminder that we are not necessarily protected from the ravages of health problems just because of wealth or fame.
Absolutely. And what Angelina did was medically really what is counseled for her. She didn't do anything extraordinary given her very unique set of risk factors. But it is very important to recognize that Angelina was doing what was right for her, and that is not a blanket statement of what might be right for other people.
And in fact, so Doctor, that's part of what I'm thinking here is, you know, that celebrity status can operate to open up a conversation or to shut down a conversation, right? To make it feel like, well, if this is what Angelina Jolie with wealth and access would do, then it must be the best thing to do. And I'm wondering then how you actually allow it to be an opening of a conversation instead of a closing of one.
Well, from a public health point of view, and I agree, you know, as a woman and as a health provider, that it was very courageous that she came out with this. The very way we define femininity, you know, really depended on the organs that she had removed. And it's very courageous, especially in women's health, when it's been shrouded in secrecy, gender oppression and cultural norms that don't support us to tell our stories. So for her to tell it is very powerful for many women. And for us in public health, we're starting to use storytelling as a way to promote health. We do it when we see that these stories, in New York City, we know the about the smoking cessation and smoking ads that have been out there, and they show people's fingers that are not there any longer. That has a lot of power and a lot of impact, and you see the rise not only from Angelina's story as far as the awareness around breast cancer and around screening and around testing, but you also see action and more conversation happening. So from a public health point of view, it is helpful as a health promotion tool, and so we use it and we embrace it in that way. But we also understand the realities that not every woman has the power and privilege. Not every woman has the power and privilege to access health care and the healthcare system and have the best medical doctors. Not every woman has the time to take off of her job in order to go to multiple appointments, because genetic counseling is a lot of appointments, genetic testing, follow up, follow through. A lot of women are the heads of their households, and they're also having to care for their family. So even if Affordable Care Act is saying that it's going to cover genetic counseling as well as testing, if it shows that it's warranted, many women still may have to pay out-of-pocket costs, and they're going to have to make the decision, do I feed my family or do I pay this? So there are a lot of realities that do need to come in play, and we have to be very honest about that, and we're noticing that through the Center for Health Equity in New York City.
So everything that you just laid on the table, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to ask a little bit about that, because I'm of two minds on this question of telling stories and the ways in which it is required of women when we're talking about our reproductive organs in a way that maybe nobody else has to talk so much about their internal organs in order to sort of have freedom of access. Thank you, though, to Dr. Althea Maybank. The rest of my panel sticking around, and when we come back, the lawmaker who went public with the story of her abortion and why she said she had to come forward.